Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we have the pleasure of speaking to Matt from Siren Craft Brewery about virtual events in the brewing world. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us.
Right, so Joanne and I were just talking about so I got both of us the Enter Strata or Strata. How would you
I say
choose?
Strata, but I don't know.
Strata.
Yeah, we were going Strata.
I think I've said Strata, but Strata, yeah.
And then
I'm sorry. Strata.
and then I also got, so she's not as into hoppy beers as I am. She's more into stout.
All right.
So basically, I made us both happy by going one hazy IPA.
Yeah.
And I got the Midnight Mischief.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
So
that's
what we thought we would drink.
Good.
So, do you want to give us the quick elevator pitch for anyone that hasn't heard me preach about Siren constantly? I mean, I'm wearing the t-shirt, I've got the glass, I'm ready to go. Elevator pitch of who you are, what you do. Tell us about you.
Yeah, so Siren Craft Brew, we're based in Finch Hampstead, which is near Reading. Been going since 2013, so going pretty strong now. Founded by Darren, who's our owner. Back in 2013, started the brewery with Brian, who was our first ever head brewer. He'd been brewing beers in Europe with I think Mikula and Evil Twin, so came from a really good kind of pedigree and background. And I think the whole point of our brewery is to kind of produce these really bold, kind of interesting, like layered, complex beers. In fact, the first ever beer that we brewed was Maiden, our barley wine. So it's a bit of signal of intent, really, isn't it? When open a new brewery and rather having like a beer that's going to please everyone that you can sell a load of. No, let's just brew a barley wine.
Nice.
It's a bold move.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's just kind of where we've been, going from since then. Obviously, we've got our kind of 5 core range beers. So we've got Lumina, which is our newest session IPA, Soundwave, which is our flagship IPA, Ulu, which is our Earl Grey Pale Ale, Calypso, which is our dry hop sour, and Broken Dream, which I'm sure you're probably all familiar with, which is our breakfast stout, which won the 2018 Supreme Champion Beer of Britain. So we've got like a really cool core range that kind of go across all the styles. So they're great entry level beers, so anyone who wants to venture into the world of craft. But there's also something there for even the hardened, most hardened craft beer nerds as well. So great, got that great range. And then we brew a lot specials throughout the year. I think last year we brewed 101 different beers in total.
Oh wow, that's really good going for last year.
Yeah, I mean it's 2 a week, really.
Yeah, I know, because I was buying them 2 a week. Waiting for the email to come out, like what's coming out this week. I'm so excited.
Mad, isn't it? And it's really difficult for. I mean, obviously everyone's keep it, including us. People were asking me about the beers and how we brewed them. I'm like, right, okay, what one was that? Yeah, right. Because there's so many, and they're all completely different, in their own right. And we had something from our 2.8% micro IPA all the way up to the 13.5%, 24 months barrel aged milk stout, in various different adjuncts and things. So yeah, there's a beer for everyone. And I think there is definitely something for everyone at Siren, for sure. So yeah, that's Siren. Yeah, really exciting. I guess we're fairly old school, in the craft beer scene, and probably the most established in Reading. But we all know that Reading's got an amazing beer scene. There's some fantastic breweries and venues and people. So yeah. That's Siren, really, I guess, in a nutshell.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. Thank you for that. And so really, your job, you've been the events planning person, haven't you?
Yeah, so
An exciting 2020.
I landed my dream job as an events manager at my favourite brewery 2 weeks before lockdown.
Oh no.
And there is a bit of banter in the office that I am the worst events manager they've ever had. My first job was to cancel all the brewery tours, cancel all the hotels for all the different festivals we had.
That's like the destroyer of fun. You come in and you go, hotels, we're done, not happening.
Yeah.
Brewery tours, not happening, it's done.
Yeah, and in fact, at first we were just cancelling the brewery tours, month by month because we're thinking, oh, not this will blow over, but like I don't think any of us thought, we would be in this situation still. So, and it got to the point where we were like, you know what, we'll just cancel everything. No one can book anything because we just don't know how long this will be going on for. But so yeah, my job should be events, but there's always something to do in the brewery. I think is the main thing, and I kind of Jess and I had to kind of move the tap yard guys over to web orders, so we've essentially been looking after that. But doing some events as and when we can. So yeah.
So I think like kind of a lot of breweries are in your position as well. I mean, every brewery's more or less in your position, and I think we're all in agreement when we say that I don't think any of us thought we'd be sort of where we are at this point. And I think Siren's definitely taken a lot of bold risks, like your Lumina. You decided to launch the new core range beer in the middle of pandemic, so that was good.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong, right? That's not what you do when all the pubs are closed. But that was really fun, and I think that was probably one of our kind of the first big foray that we did into, because that was an all digital launch. We launched, we did everything from the press release to everything was done on Zoom and various things. So I think that was the first kind of big thing that came from last year, really.
Yeah, and I don't know. So it gave me my favourite glass that I use all the time.
So cool, isn't it?
I love it.
She loves the Lumina glass.
Honestly, I use it all the time because it's the shape. It's the shape
Yes,
of it in general. I'm like, I love it. And I don't know, Joe, if you knew this, but basically, obviously, when Lumina launched, you did, Matt, an event with Dr. Becky, who's an astrophysicist, and it was really, really cool. So I remember doing that, and you would love her, Joe, because she is so smart. She is just the coolest. So tell us about that event. That was
Yeah, she's incredible, isn't she? So I mean, that was in terms of how that event was planned, it was a bit of everything, and that was really mainly Andy, our marketing manager's kind of idea, and it all kind of stemmed from obviously Lumina. The artwork is very much based on the stars and it's our shining light. And Andy remembered, we went back to his childhood where he had this planisphere. I think he got a free planisphere from a magazine or something like that.
Behind me at the moment.
Yeah, so and he was like, we could do a live stargazing night, which was like the whole concept was mad. Especially as you can spend months planning it and then the night's cloudy and you can't see any stars. But but yeah, no, we kind of went with it. Dr. Becky got involved, and she is incredible, isn't she? She's just like,
she's awesome. She is so cool.
Talking, and I was just like, I mean, Tim was answering all the questions. We had a bit of a technical issue where I couldn't talk anyway, but I was just like, I could listen to her forever. And yeah, it was just such a fun night. And the kind of the packs were great with the marshmallows and the planisphere and everything just based around stargazing. And I think on the night, for the most part, the weather was brilliant. So people were sitting outside and toasting their marshmallows, drinking beers, and looking at the stars. So yeah, looking back at it seems so long ago, but yeah, that was such a cool event.
Yeah, and I think what's really brilliant, and so Joanne and I were talking about, and obviously Joe can elaborate on this further, but we were sort of talking about how Well, COVID's not been great, and the fact that we have to be at home is not great. For two of us that work full time and try to balance lots of different things at once, including this podcast, there's been events that we probably wouldn't have been able to do, like weeknight events, or even events that are like we did Collab Fest, because we could do that at home now instead of going to London, and it made it almost more accessible for two really busy people. I mean, that's, for me, I felt like having events like that with Dr. Becky, that was so cool because it was so, she was so intelligent. I felt like I was learning so much. I was drinking great beer, and I felt that I didn't have to run around or go, oh, I'm now going to have to try to drive home. Or, I mean, like Joe, you can elaborate more on that, I think.
Yeah, just because I think I'm down in Kent, so we've not got any of the big boys down our way. You know, oh, we've got Shepherd Neame, but they are not doing anything online. So it's, I think from my point of view, I've been able to get involved in a lot of things without having to, you know, at the minute, you don't really want to have to worry about using public transport, just, you know, just for that extra layer of safety. So being able to do lots of different digital events and virtual events has been really good. Like, so we did Brewdog's Collab Fest. That would normally take me, I worked it out, and my closest Brewdog bar is 2.5 hours away. If you include like going to the station, going from the station to the next one, like, and that's a big chunk of the day traveling to it. But I've also enjoyed like some of and you've opened up with your things, and like, so breweries like Wild Beer Co have opened up their barrel store, and you've seen really exciting things like that. Like, where have you, like, that idea kind of almost came out of the blue, would you say, for the Lumina one? Like, how did you then come up with your next ideas?
Yeah, I think yes, I mean the Lumina one was big, and I think I'm trying to think timeline now because everything seems such a blur, but I think
every day's the same now, isn't it? It's deja vu.
Next.
Yeah, I think before that we'd maybe done a few, and no, we definitely had, because we'd done a virtual tasting or a drink along with one of our California IPAs. I think it was Every Minute Matters, and that was our first kind of, and I think that's what gave us the confidence to go really big with Lumina. And I think we sold over 1,000 packs for people to get involved. So
wow.
And I forget how. I mean, I think the majority of those joined in at some point during the event, because it went on for a couple of hours. And then so it kind of gave us the confidence for that. And then obviously after Lumina, we had pretty much the confidence to go and do anything. But yeah, you're right. It did kind of come out of the blue because I think the problem we had was, and it's a good problem to have, but because we all moved over to lockdown, we moved to shipping orders, and then people can come to the brew. We were so busy with that and just trying to keep up with everything. We weren't really necessarily, I don't know if we were thinking, like all about all these cool things we could do, but we kind of adjusted to the change, web orders, because we went from maybe 50 a month to around about 250 a day. So we had the time to adjust and then kind of sit back and think. But we kind of tried to mix it up between small little events like Instagram lives. So I've been doing those, and we've talked to some really great breweries and people. Talked to Firestone Walker, Mikkeller, Melissa Cole, Cigar City. So some really big breweries that have got involved, which is fantastic. But they're just kind of the small little fun events. And then we've gone from doing other live tastings to then most recently we did a beer and cheese pairing. We're doing another one for Valentine's Day, which would be great fun. So I can't really think at what point after that it was like, right, this is what we, this is going to be big for us. This is what we're going to do. And I think that just gave us the confidence to kind of just come up with some really kind of cool ideas, pretty much. Yeah. So we've done lots of, we did the obligatory quiz night. We did one of those, and or just anything really that we think, would be a bit of fun. And, what would I like to do, that can either give me a whole night's entertainment or, just a 15-minute distraction from just the monotony of sitting at home on the couch watching Netflix.
Yeah, indeed. Does the beer inspire it in any way?
So yeah, I mean, we try and tie them into at least something that's happening. So, whether we are launching a beer with a brewery, or whether a brewery's got something exciting to talk about. For example, the beer and cheese pairing we're doing for Valentine's Day, that was kind of inspired by the fact that I wanted to do another one. We're like, well, I mean, you can just do them for the fun of it, but it's always nice when there's like a reason. And I was like, Valentine's is going to be really boring this year because you can't go out for a meal. And yeah, you can sit at home and cook a nice meal, but I've been doing that for a year. It's no longer like
that's not novelty anymore.
No, like the amount of dinners that me and my fiance have cooked together, it's just really.
Yeah, got to do it again.
So I was like, what can we do? So it was like beer and cheese pairing, and we can send it out to everyone, and it's like a couples thing, so you can sit down together. You can watch us talk about beer and cheese. You can get involved, or you can just listen along. And I thought that would be great fun because it's a bit of a distraction from the fact that we're having to spend Valentine's Day locked in. If you normally like going out for or doing something, some people aren't bothered, but it's a distraction from that. But it's also something just a little bit different.
Sure.
So yeah, it's usually based around something, an event, or a beer. We've got a beer coming out with Andy from Elusive this Friday, and I'm probably going to be chatting to him on Instagram about it. So it's normally based around something like that, but otherwise just a cool idea or just having a bit of fun, really.
And that's it. I think I remember doing the On the Bubble tasting with you guys, and the where you did that you mentioned earlier with Green Cheek for the Every Minute Matters, and I really like that because if I'm honest, I don't remember at the point of which you started doing it. I'm sure other breweries were doing live tastings as well, but in my brain, there weren't too many that were saying we're going to do this and we're going to do a tasting, get the beer that I can think of at that point in time. So it was just really nice because you're talking about sort of date night. And I remember saying to my husband, like, look, come on, they're going to do this tasting. We can sit together. We can do this tasting together. And it was just something really nice and different. And, it was, yes, you can drink for any reason. However, it kind of gave you a bit more of a purpose to drink. So you weren't just almost drinking for the sake of it. You were like, oh, cool, this is an activity now. So it just felt a bit more special than just, I'm cracking open a beer now and sitting here and drinking it just because I can.
It's something to look forward to as well, isn't it? Because we normally do these tastings maybe a couple of weeks after people have bought the beer. So, we were having a lot of our customers, they're buying 2 or 3 of the beers, and they were having it as soon as they came through, but they'd save a can for the live event, or they'd be really good and not try it, and they'd drink along. So again, it was something else to kind of look forward to and to give people that extra kind of element. But also, drinking along with people makes you feel like you're down the pub again, maybe.
Yeah. Like I said, you could sit there and go, well, I guess I'll just drink this by myself, but it makes you feel a bit more sociable while you're doing it. So don't just go, I'm just cracking a beer open at 6 o'clock even though it's a Friday, 6 o'clock on a Friday, just because I can. You were like, no, I've got a reason to do it now. I'm drinking with other people, even if they're strangers. And it was just nice because there was also, you guys were doing it sort of on YouTube where you could have comments and interact with people, and it felt a bit more interactive than just drinking it by yourself and posting up on Facebook and eventually having a conversation with someone. It was really good, and I think it hit at the right time where people were just starting to get bored of the lockdown, and the weather was nice, but we couldn't have people around, and it was just incredibly frustrating. So I know from my standpoint, I really enjoyed those because I said it was a date night for me and my husband who couldn't go out and do something. So it was just something a bit different to do. So and when you did the so recently you guys did the dinner that you had with you did the beers and Maka Malaysia did the meal. I have been dying for something like that for ages, and I've told so many people over the last few months how much I wanted to do it. So when you said, oh, we might have an event coming up, I was so excited because I love food. I love good food. That food was amazing. The beer paired perfectly with it, and it was just something different. It was something nice and different as a date night.
I remember you posting on the forum and actually saw it, because that was something that I'd been trying to plan with them for a while. And and I guess kind of going back to you saying that Siren were pretty much on it right from the start. And I don't want to say we were the first brewery to be doing this or that, but I know we were in it quite early. But we are also in the fortunate position that they had me on board. They had an events manager, because I'd imagine that most breweries, that maybe if they were lucky enough to have one, would have probably had to furlough them because of the situation. Whereas I was, obviously able to help out with other stuff at the brewery, and kind of use my kind of knowledge from other kind of jobs that I've had, but also at the same time come up with these ideas. So I think we were quite, lucky in that sense. But yeah, this Macam Malaysia one was one that I've been trying to kind of organise for a while, and they just kept on getting kicked down the road because something would come up. And I remember in January, the first week in January, obviously orders were quiet, so we sat down and we were like, right, this is the time that we can really kind of, put our foot on the gas, and that was one of the things that we did. And we've got another couple of those lined up, but we have also got busy again because I think people got bored of dry January. I think we saw orders go up 2 weeks into January, and I think everyone was like, "Oh no, sod that."
Yeah.
Not this year.
No.
I think that was like a chance to reset everyone's palates. I mean, I definitely didn't go dry.
No.
We didn't go dry.
No, we didn't.
But I think for a lot of people, they went, I'm going to be healthy for a month. And then as it started to get every day's the same, deja vu, heading towards the end of January, people were like, how many weeks left until I can drink again? So I imagine your orders have probably ramped up quite significantly.
It's got a bit mad again, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was dying for an event like that for ages, because I'm used to, as you know, and other people know, I'm from the US, and I was used to seeing these US breweries that were doing these dinner clubs and these beer and food pairings and stuff like that. And I was like, that is such an amazing idea, having that kind of synergy, that you're working with local businesses and you're helping to promote each other in a time when everyone kind of needs the help. That I was like, why am I not hearing more of this happening here? And there was a few times I posted like, does anyone know about it? And the last time I posted, you were like, yeah, we've got something that's coming up. And I was like, yes, finally. I was excited, and it ended up being amazing. So are you going to do those type of events again? Did you say that the food and...
Yeah, we've got, so I mean, that one was, I guess it was less of a digital event, but more of a tap yard kind of thing, because we've got a little bar where we always do lots of kind of really cool things for locals, and we were kind of aware that they were missing out a little bit. So we wanted to do a few things that were just for people at the tap yard. So we did that. We also had our third birthday Zoom as well, which we decided would be just for the tap yard, for the people that would normally come drink. So we'll be doing a few more events that are specifically for kind of like local people, as well as kind of like national things. But yeah, we've got lots of kind of cool events, like I said, and you kind of touched on supporting local and independent. That's definitely been something we wanted to do throughout lockdown. I don't know if you guys have even attempted our escape room that we're doing.
You haven't, me.
So I started it not realizing, I think I might have told you, Joe, I started not realizing how long it was and how actually in depth it was. So I started it not thinking about it. It was so cool, but my husband was busy doing something else. And I was like, he was working on his car or something like that. And I was like, I need your help. Like, I can't do this on my own. So we sat there for about 15, 20 minutes and we went, we're going to have to come back to this. And then we forgot about it. So we've never finished it. And so I've been trying to, I think we're going to buy it again and we're going to do it again. And I've been recommending it to people on local pages as well, because I'm like, you can get a package where you get beer and you get the escape room. So it's kind of amazing too for one situation. And I was like, from what I did, it was really unique and really cool. So highly recommend to anyone that's looking for something a bit unique and different, that likes escape rooms. This was super interactive and it was a really interesting way to do it. Does this get made specifically for you guys then?
Yeah, so this came from a comment, because obviously they're an escape room based in Reading, and they're big fans of Siren. I think they approached us and said that we've got this idea, and we were like, yeah, that's cool. So they created an escape room where it's all based around Siren and the branding and that. So yeah, it's just really fun. I think at one point, or it might still be rated the #1 online escape room in the world,
Wow.
which is cool to come out of
Yeah.
Reading. Also, it's worth noting that at the £10 code, 100% of the proceeds go to them, so we don't make any money from that. So, and it was us trying to help a local business that can't open. So yeah, if you do buy a code, all that money is going to them. Obviously, as you say, you can buy the pack with some beers as well, which I highly recommend.
I say it's more funny when you drink. It's more fun when you drink, isn't it? You get an
Yeah.
even better experience when you've had beers and you're doing an escape room. All of a sudden, you can solve everything. It's great.
It's super intense, like you say. It's really intricate and hard, and I didn't complete either. But I'm not that intelligent when it comes to stuff like that. Any puzzles or riddles, or they just go straight over my head. So, but yeah, that again, working with local and independent people is really important. It always has been for Siren. So we wanted to kind of keep this kind of going in our digital events as well. So obviously the Valentine's beer and cheese pairing was with Grumpy Goat, so we're collaborating with them. We've got a really kind of slightly odd but quite fun event coming up at the end of the month as well, which is a whiskey. Well, it's actually it's an old-fashioned cocktail evening.
Oh.
It's based around obviously our refashioned beer, which is an old-fashioned barley wine. So we teamed up with an independent cocktail company. And you can buy a box, which is you're going to get a couple of whiskies, some cocktail mix, and 2 of our beers. And we're just going to. There's not a lot of point to it, apart from everyone gets on Zoom and we just drink cocktails and beer and have a laugh.
You
so that's
need more of a point, though.
Yeah.
I think that's a good.
That sounds like
point,
a great,
isn't it?
great reason to.
Yeah,
do
it
it.
was to kind of talk about. I guess the point of it really is to kind of highlight how incredible it is that you can make a beer taste like that, and you can take any concept and then create a beer around it. But also how incredible our barrel manager Steve is, to essentially make a beer that tastes exactly like an old fashioned. It's to highlight. So Steve will be on the call and he'll be talking about how he created it and the processes that went into it. Because he sent me an email about it, and most of it went straight over my head. To be honest, it's really quite complex. We're also going to have a cocktail expert on there who's going to help us make some old fashions, but also talk about kind of the flavors and the combinations and pairings. So that would be great fun. It's more about the idea and concept of taste and flavors, and really what you can do and how you perceive it, as opposed to really our beer. So that's completely different. But again, pairing up with a kind of an independent business.
I think by the time this episode comes out, that won't have happened yet, because that's on the 27th.
26th, I think.
26th, yeah. I know it's after my payday. That's because I was like,
working out the bit spending.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was like, oh, when do I get paid?
Yeah, 26th is on. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think it's coming out. This episode will be coming out before that, so hopefully, if anyone's interested in that, they can go check that out.
Awesome.
So, Joe, do you have any? I've got some questions, but do you have any questions? I'm going to crack open the milk stuff.
I don't have any questions. I have a suggestion for what I like, actually, that leads on quite well from this, because we were talking about what other digital events we want to see, and the one that I'd like to see is I would like to see your person that blends do a lesson in blending and how they put together those beers, and see the barrel store and things, because that's my jam, working out how you do all of that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'll have a look into it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so our barrel store is pretty impressive. If you've not been to it, we must have around about 400 active barrels there at the moment, with
amazing.
Any barrel you can think of, with any beer you can think of in there. And it is really, the process is really intense. And I didn't know anything really about it before I joined Siren, I'm learning as much as I possibly can. But the more I learn, the more I think, wow, there's more to learn than it's like a never-ending kind of like rabbit hole. So that would be great fun. Yeah, that would be really good fun.
Yes, please.
Yeah. We were talking about it the other night, and she was like, "Have they ever done that? Where like you can actually see the blend?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't think so." I was like, "You've shown the spin bot when you do the spin bot stuff and that kind of stuff." I was like, "I don't think they've ever shown like proper blending or any of the barrel stuff."
We've got our annual maiden blend coming up, so that would make
There we
sense.
go. Look, that pairs quite nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it led on from the refashion top to that. It's brilliant. Yeah, I don't think I've ever. You guys have an Instagram account now for the barrel store, don't you?
Yeah, if you follow at Siren Barrels, it's essentially a daily post about what's going in there. We definitely kind of ramped up our barrel releases towards the end of last year, and I think this year is going to be similar. There's going to be quite a bit coming out from there. I think there's just the one so far refashioned, but there's a lot planned. Obviously, you've got Maiden, and then I know of at least one more, and that's within the first couple of months. So I think Steve's going to be very busy. It's good fun, but yeah, no, if you follow at Siren Barrels, you can kind of see everything that's going on there.
To be exciting stuff then to look out for. Even though, despite having been down to the tap yard quite a lot, I've never actually done a brewery tour there. I've never looked at the barrel store or anything like that. And then obviously COVID happened, so that definitely wasn't going to happen. So when it all opens up again, I'll have to go back and do like a proper proper tour and all that, because that would be pretty good and interesting to see, I think. We were talking about the whole reason that came up as well is I constantly message Joanne going, "I've had an incredible thought. Like, listen to my incredible thoughts." And then I said, "Oh, when Matt comes on, we can pitch him our amazing ideas."
Like Dragon's Den.
Yeah, it's like we could pitch him these amazing event ideas, and that was Joanne's one. And I was like, "That's pretty good."
I like it. Yeah, 100%.
In terms of events that you plan, do you have a particular type of event that you like to plan more than another, or is it all just it's all just fun for you, keeping it interesting, trying different types?
Yeah, I guess so. We've also been doing a lot of virtual tastings, and this again was something I kind of stumbled upon. And again, I don't want to say we were definitely the first brewery, but I know we were pretty early at doing it, and I know that because essentially when we started advertising it, my inbox went mad, and people were saying, we were Googling virtual beer tastings and nothing else was coming up. And I know since then there's been a few other breweries that have announced that they're going to start doing them. But again, this is actually a company came to me and pitched me, said, "Look, this is what we want to do. We want to have some people on. We're going to do like a little webinar, and then we want someone to come on and drink beers and talk about them. Can you do that?" And it was something that I hadn't done, but I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I think they had about 65 people sign up. So we sent them all a box of beer, and I came on and talked about the beer for kind of 60 minutes, and they came back to it and said, "That was incredible. We want to book some more." So I said to Andy, "This is definitely a thing." So we quickly got about to making a web page for it and the little kind of PDF that we could send to businesses. And then kind of fast forward to now, I think my last count is over 2,000 people in total I've had on these tastings.
Wow.
I think about 78 since mid-November. And at one point there was 1 week where I did 3 a day, every day of the week over Christmas, because people loved them and it was like a Christmas party for them. So, we'd had a lot of businesses that were kind of coming to us and saying that we've all had a rubbish year. We just want to treat our staff to something nice. So yeah, they all come on Zoom. They get sent a box of beer, and I just sit here and talk about it, and everyone has a bit of fun. And they're great. They're great to do, because to just see the joy on people's faces that they can see the people they would have seen in the office, have a beer with them and have a laugh, but also learn a little bit about beer. And yeah, they're fantastic. And I think I spend 50% of my day just organising those. I've got a lot to do. I think 36 I've got to do this month, last count.
Oh, that's brilliant though.
Yeah.
Such a demand for that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's been great, and not only is it a good kind of way for us to get a little bit of revenue in and sell a bit of beer, so it helps us out in that point. But to talk about the brand and or even some people really don't care about the brand, but to talk about the history of beers and to make people think a little bit more about what they're drinking and or even the reason that they've paid £3 for a beer. That there is a reason. It's not, we don't just, we're not just hipsters that charge twice as much for beer. Like there is.
Depends on who you ask. That some people just go like, oh, you'll just charge it. I stick with my £1 a can, and you're like, oh,
yeah. And that's absolutely fine. I say to everyone, that's fine. If that's what you want from beer, then go for it.
Yeah.
But this is kind of elevated. I did one again, complete novices. And I always ask, what's your level? Or we've had a few. I've had a punk IPA before or something like that. So they've had, at least they know what it is. So I have a bit of fun. I sent them the barley wine.
That's
brilliant. Brilliant.
It's really isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and people's journeys into craft beer, they always start at like a pale ale and work their way up. I think if someone had given me a barley wine as my first ever craft beer, I probably would have recoiled and thought, what is going on?
I definitely would have. I would have been like, no. I still struggle with barley wines.
I think they loved it, but I think the reason they loved it was because they never thought beer could taste like that.
Yeah.
And just talking about the flavours. So I absolutely love doing those because I get paid to sit on Zoom and drink beer with people and tell them about it. And I could talk about beer for hours. So
yeah.
But also just even just coming up with the stupid ideas, the beer and cheese Valentine's evening. Like I think when I first thought about it, I was like, no one's going to want to do that for Valentine's. But like I thought, actually it's something different. It just breaks up the monotony. And you had emails, people emailing in saying, this is amazing. In fact, we've actually sold out 2 weeks before Valentine's. We might be able to release some more. We just have to figure out if we can buy that much cheese. That's the problem. We can sell the ticket. I just need to find and get all the cheese. So you're going to figure that out this week. But there's going to be 100 people on that.
Wow.
So it's going to be calamitous. It's going to be great fun.
It's perfect though, isn't it? Because normally, like you were saying, people have like a nice romantic meal if that's what you're into. You have like a nice meal, and this is quite nice because it's not a meal. That could be sort of your starter, or if you like, and then or your pudding. You can either eat first and then do it, or you can do that first and then have a nice meal after. It's not that's going to be sort of your core meal. So it's
exactly, and it's
well thought of thing.
It's just a bit of fun, and I was talking to my fiance about it, and I was like, if they're like me, and don't take this wrong, I'm kind of bored of you because I see you every single day, and and you just think this way people can have Valentine's with a group of people where you can it's almost like being in a massive, because 100 tickets, that's 200 people on this Zoom. And it's going to be great fun, and I think it would just be nice to be amongst people who will have the atmosphere, and rather than just another night with the person you live with.
It's recreating that community that we're all missing at the minute from the pub and the tap room and everything, isn't it? And festivals, because we haven't been able to do that. It's nice that we can still get together in a different way.
Exactly. Yeah, it's taking that kind of social aspect that we're all missing, that we're all kind of craving, I think. In a sense, so I think I just love doing all events. To be honest, there's not a right answer for that. Just any events really. They're all great fun.
So do you think then, sort of after things get back to a bit more normalcy, we can all start going back out again? Do you think that you guys will continue to do these digital events, sort of intermixed with in-person events? Because I think we think it's quite important because I think this has helped also call out people that might have social anxiety, and not as comfortable going out with a bunch of strangers if their partner's not into craft beer and they don't have craft beer friends, but they like craft beer and they're a bit more, socially conscious about going by themselves somewhere, or you've got someone that can't travel as easily, or they're still a bit more vulnerable when things start going back to normal. Do you think you'll continue to do these type of events?
Yeah, I think so. So kind of going back to that, the traveling and that. I'm from Kent as well, Joanne, and I know your pain that there's very, very little kind of, I'm not going to say good beer, but there's not a lot of craft beer if that's what you're into.
That is the key. There's beer, just there's not a huge amount of craft beer available readily in the tap room or anything.
Yeah, and I used to go to the bottle shop, rest in peace, when it was open,
Yeah.
and that was probably the closest thing, and it was still train ride, but
that totally went. And now a little brewery from Deal called Dockers has actually taken over their slot in the Good Shed in Canterbury.
Right.
And they've now got, I haven't been to it yet, but I saw the other day that they've basically got a bottle shop in there, and I was like, that's probably our only like proper bottle shop in my area where I could get craft beer. Like I could just go and buy it rather than order it from the internet.
Absolutely. So there's definitely that aspect, but also kind of at the end of last year, and Tori, I don't know whether you saw this, but again, this is another idea I came up with, and it was basically the concept of a hybrid event, and this was Siren in Liverpool that I kind of came up with, where we combined digital talks. So I did Instagram talks with 3 different breweries within Liverpool. We also combined that with we did almost like a beer and food pairing tasting thing at a restaurant in Liverpool, as well as a tap takeover that we did physically. So there was a physical aspect to it. There was an event aspect, but it was because it was like a beer and food pairing, like it was going on a week, so you didn't have to be there at a certain time. You could do it when you want, and they just kind of had all our beers on and paired it. Lots of different kind of micro pubs and bottle shops got a load of our beer in, especially, and they were doing special offers. And then we had the physical tap takeover. So and it was like let's try it, because I think this would be quite fun, because there's a bit for everything. And like you say, if you have social anxiety and you just want to order in a beer from a brewery and sit at home and drink it, and watch along, you can. If you really like going out, you can do that. If you like going out but you don't want to be somewhere at a specific time, go to that restaurant, try some beers. So it had all those kind of different aspects, and it was trying to include as many different people as we possibly could. But we also had this overarching thing that was there to highlight Liverpool as a destination, not only just for beer, but for culture, as a food scene, kind of, any, museums, there was like culture going on. So it was basically there was a bit of everything in there, and it was, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and it took a good 3 weeks kind of to like really kind of plan it out, even just on a small scale. And everyone loved it. All the breweries got involved and they said it was great. And we did have plans to do the same in Brighton, and it was meant to be pretty much this week, but we've had to move that. But yeah, I think for me, I think the future is in these hybrid events. And I was so glad that we kind of gave it a go and tried it, because we learned a lot from it. And we are in a position where we can just hit go for the next one. And there's going to be so much going on. So yeah, I think probably the future is in these hybrid events where you can get as involved as you want, really. So there's a bit of everything for everyone, but it's not always just about the beer either, because it's also about supporting the whole of hospitality as well. So
yeah, because if I remember correctly, I do remember that, because that's when Joanne, I told you, it's basically I took my husband and my dog and I got them in the car and we went down to the tap yard, and that's where I had the Melissa Kolsch.
Yeah.
And I was going, this is so good. I was like, you need to get this. You need to get this. You guys were sold out of the cans, or else I would have bought it. So I said to my husband, we're going down the tap yard. He was like, let's take the dog. I was like, okay, we'll go sit outside. I was like, because I need to try this specific beer because it sounds amazing. And it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And if I remember at the time, you guys, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but I think we were sort of in tier 2 and they were kind of still properly locked down. So it was a way, sort of, whether intentional or not, that you guys could help out a community that was struggling maybe a bit more than we were in Berkshire, because we had a little bit more free movement. We could still go drink down at the tap yard, whereas people in Liverpool kind of couldn't at that point so much.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit of that. I mean, I've been planning, like I say, I've been planning it for a while, and they were kind of teetering, and we were always going to go through with it, even if some of the physical events in Liverpool had to be cancelled, because it was a way of kind of like helping out other breweries. So yeah, we had beer from the breweries that we spoke to on our web shop, and we had the Neptune beer in our tap yard. Unfortunately, halfway through they did have to lock down, but we still got most of the events done. It was unfortunate that I couldn't go, but I think it was quite obvious that was never going to be possible. But we had one of our sales reps there at the time, and so she was able to go and kind of represent Siren. So yeah, it was a bit of everything, but yeah, it was quite nice that we were able to help out a city that was really kind of struggling with with the current situation, and support hospitality in that city as well, because at the time we were in a much better place.
Yeah, no, it's kind of back to what we were saying a minute ago about when we kind of come out of lockdown, what's going to do. Joanne pitched you her idea for an event. I was thinking, when we come out of lockdown, my idea I've got a million ideas and they're all great ideas. But the one that I was thinking was, when we come out of lockdown, you guys, given you've got Elusive literally right across from you, you guys should do some type of like small Berkshire-based beer festival and food festival, because you could just take over the whole estate. We could go for a walk through the woods. You could have like a disco at the end of the night when we can all be back around each other again, and then you can have your base and Elusive as their own bases, and that would be really cool in my opinion, to get everyone Reading way sort of over. There's a few new people that have popped up like Crafty Cats. So that's what I think you guys should do. That's my idea.
Yeah, no, that would be really good fun. I think what we're kind of struggling with, and I've been having kind of preliminary talks with a lot of the big beer festivals, is just I want them to happen so much, but are they going to happen? Not entirely sure, and it's really difficult to plan something and kind of spend a lot of time and energy into it, which I think is why these kind of the digital events, yes, but also these hybrid events are great, because if the physical part of it gets cancelled, then you can just roll with it and move on. Whereas these kind of physical things, fingers crossed. I'm really, really hoping that we're out of this soon. I'm supposed to be going to Mauritius to get married in a few weeks, so we're not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Take 3, whether we're I'm lucky. So I'm really kind of crossing all fingers that kind of in May, April, we might be able to. But I think everyone's going to be so I don't know, just so keen to do something. We could probably turn something like that over pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It's not like we'll be doing anything else.
No. Well, fingers crossed for the next chance.
Yeah.
That it goes through that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess before we go on to the one last bit, because we don't want to keep you for too long, if you could plan whatever event, say budget for Siren, obviously, no budget, but keep it a bit realistic. The one event that you'd want to plan, what would it be?
I think it would include as many of those aspects that I love. So it would probably look something like a small music festival with food and great beer. And getting in proper stages and things like that, and great bands and things. I think that would be great, and I know we obviously we've done some festivals at Siren, and we've had 500-600 people there all drinking beer, and there's been some music and stuff like that, but it'd be like taking that to the next level. what I'm just looking forward to is when I can plan an actual event.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the first thing is to just be able to go to a beer festival and plan Siren to be there. I would take that. Maybe somewhere abroad because we've not gone on holiday, so maybe
Siren abroad. Let's go. We're all going.
Yeah, just rent out a plane like Rudolph or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, or just even Cigar City's Invitational in Tampa.
Ooh,
Yeah, sign me up for that.
fun. Yeah.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we won't keep you too much longer, but we thought it would be really fun to see if you could guess your own beer in a Name That Beer segment. So if we read you the back of the can descriptions of a few different beers, will you be able to tell what they are? Are you ready for that challenge?
Oh God, I'm going to fail miserably at this, aren't I?
That's all right. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We'll even start off easy. Joe, do you want to pick one?
Oh, am I starting off easy?
I'll let
Right,
you
hang
start.
on.
I'll let
Hang on,
you
I've got to
start.
pick a different one. Right.
Did you pick a really
I was gonna
difficult one and then went, oh, maybe not that one?
Yeah, I did. Right. This beer pours with an inviting haze, while big hitting American hops deliver fruit notes in abundance and a trademark resinous finish.
This is the easy one.
Yeah.
We were wondering how well you would know it.
Does it sound
Yeah,
fun?
it's Soundwave.
Yes.
Well
done.
And I've got next to me my Soundwave face mask.
Ooh, nice. They're cool,
I've
aren't
got
they?
the 3-pack for anyone that wants face masks. They are very fashionable. My husband insisted that he not have the pink one. I was like,
Oh, for goodness sake.
well, it's purple. And then he's like, oh, take any of the other ones. So he got the black one instead. I'm like, that's it. You're not allowed to have the blue or the purple one. That's it. You're banned.
To be fair, my husband would have said the same. So
He was like, can I just not have that one? And I was like,
It's my favourite one.
I was like, that was brilliant.
It's fine. That is mine.
I was like, here, you get the plain black one that doesn't even have a lady on it. So that's on you. Right, next one. Let's see. Right. Second ever black IPA. An onslaught of tropical fruit, citrus, and resinous aromas will leave you questioning the pitch black pour. The malt base is minimal on the roast notes you may expect from a dark beer. It does bring a delicate, toasty background, allowing Citra, Mosaic, and Azaka hops to work their magic.
I know this one. It's at the tip of my tongue because it's not like we've done many black IPAs either. So
That's why I picked this one.
I know, and like, I should know this one, shouldn't I? What's it called?
Do you want me to give you a hint?
Yeah, go on.
I think it's also the name of a song that a UK, I'd call it maybe hardcore band, has done.
I'm not sure that helps. I'm going to kick myself when I hear this, aren't I?
Do you want us to tell you?
Yeah, go on.
It's In the Belly of a Shark.
That's it. Oh, because it was, yeah. That was right at the start of last year as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I notoriously don't like black IPAs. I probably didn't say that.
Sacrilege.
I don't think I probably had that one.
Well, I picked that one because it was one I really liked.
I think
So
I've
it's
just
like,
had
that's
bad
going on it.
experiences with black IPAs. So, yeah.
All right, 2 more. Joanne, you go next one.
Right. Expect caramel, honey, nuttiness, chocolate, coffee, and subtle smokiness all coming through with refined depth. Rich residual sugars balance the oak tannins to keep the beer drinkable, moorish, and spectacularly flavoursome. That's very well crafted.
It's very well crafted. Whoever writes these
Wordsmith.
does a very good job.
Yeah.
I was thinking right at the start that it was affogato, but it's definitely...
No, I wouldn't ask that one because I feel like I've talked about that one enough. And if I had asked you that one, Joanne would be like, really?
We're talking about
Put that one
affogato
on the
again.
list. We both, just FYI,
Yeah.
we both picked that as our favourite ice cream pale.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, really?
Avocado.
And it was both
so
in
good.
our. We both had it in our top 10 beers of the year
Top
as
beers
well.
of the year,
So.
yeah, because I could drink that all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. But anyways, you should know this one because you were definitely working at Siren when this came out.
When was I? When was it released? Give me a clue. When did it come out?
March 2020.
Oh, okay. So it was right at the start of the year. Oh,
Ish, right at the sort of start of lockdowny times. Pre-lockdown, but only
it's not Shattered Dream. I know that. I'm just
No.
thinking of all our dark beers that we've had. It's definitely not Shattered
we're
Dream.
definitely going to kick yourself, I think, when she tells you which one it is.
Did we say it could be one of the Broken Dream variants? No.
I will give you a hint. It's not a Broken Dream variant.
I was going to say all the ones I've come up with are Broken Dream variants.
Do you want Joanne to tell you?
Yeah, go on.
Origin story.
Oh, and that's one of my favourite beers as well.
I was like, I know for a fact you were working there at this point because
Yeah.
I know that it definitely came out probably not, it came out not long either before or long after. Well, it didn't come out long before Lumina, did it?
No, again, like it's been an absolute. I think in terms of if you ask me about beers that came out, I could probably name the last 6 weeks because I think the rest of
Everything's a blur.
is just blur.
All right, I'll give you
One
a
more of them. I've got to
really
get
easy one. I'll give you a, yeah, I'm going to like just throw this one to you. You have to get this one. Right. Smooth, unctuous and moreish. It's brewed with milk, sugar for balance and mouthfeel, along with a carefully selected espresso from London's Limpson and Sons.
It's got to be Broken Dream, isn't it?
Hey!
Broken Dream. Well done.
Well done.
2 for 4, and 2 of them were really hard. Well,
Yeah.
2 of them
I
were
should
really
have got
hard.
Brennan the Shark because it was the only black IPA I think that we did last year. So.
Well, I just thought, well, there's only 2, so I was thinking you might be able to narrow it down.
Well, at least I got 2. I don't feel as bad now.
That's it. To be fair, it's quite a difficult round that we do, but we thought it would just be interesting to see how well people know their own beers.
Have you got like a leaderboard? It's going to be like the top
well,
tier, like that.
You're only the second one to do it, but Andy from Three Hills got all of his right.
Yeah. No, he got one wrong.
Oh no, he got one wrong. Did he get one wrong?
But
he did get one wrong.
That's
right.
Because
one
it was
wrong
a particular number of release. He said,
yeah, he got the release right.
6 or something.
Yeah, he got the beer right, but he didn't get which release version it was.
And to be fair to him, literally the description was like Cryo 6 and and Citra hops, and he just I think it's this one, and we're like, oh my god, how'd you get that?
That's it. We're starting a leaderboard now.
So that's right. Yeah, that's it. We weren't going to do a leaderboard, but now
we're going to now.
I was going to say, as long as I'm not going to be bottom of it by the
You're not. Well, yeah. Don't worry. We'll get some more people on. We'll have really difficult ones. I'll rig it. Don't worry. So we don't want to hold you up any longer. Do you want to plug any events? So this will be coming out, I think, the 22nd, Joe. Is that?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
So, is there anything you want to plug, and let us know what your socials are and all that people can find you on, and then we'll.
Yeah, I mean, we've got loads of stuff that we're planning. Nothing's kind of confirmed apart from the whiskey event. So, that hopefully will still be available to buy. You'll get enough to make cocktails and that for 2. So again, you could do it as a couples thing. Apart from that, we've got some really exciting beers coming up. I'll be our 3rd ever Black IPA comes out this Friday.
That's exciting.
Which is a collaboration with Andy. And I can tell you this because I won't get told off for telling you before it's released because this will come out after. It's called Zombies Ate My Neighbours. And it's got a really awesome label. It's probably my favourite ever label.
I'm obviously going to get that because obviously Elusive, for anyone that doesn't know, Elusive, so Zombies Ate My Neighbours is it's a retro video game. Elusive does a lot of retro arcade style artwork. So that's probably like a perfect collab for you guys to do.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Andy loves black IPAs and I'm hoping that I enjoy one. And I enjoy I'm going to have to drink this one live on Instagram on Friday if we do it. So I'm going to have to be like, yum.
Yeah, it's great.
And Andy's absolutely lovely as well. He's such a nice guy as well.
I'm sure we'll be able to talk for hours on that.
I know.
And then we do have one kind of cool release we've got coming up, which is due out this month, hopefully, kind of on the 19th. But it is a nitro version of Shattered Dream, which is going to be incredible.
Obviously, going to need both of those. So.
Yeah.
I was wondering what was going to be coming out with Elusive, so I'm like, oh, what have you guys done? I'm so excited. So now I'm going to have to pick that up. Joanne, I'm obviously going to have to get you one.
Yeah.
You love black IPAs, I love black IPAs, so it's going to
She's basically just my Siren mule.
And all the Shattered Dreams have always been really good. You've done so many of them now as well. So yeah, I just pick her up ones and I'm like,
I'm just looking at all the releases, Tori, and I think you're going to be broke by the end of the month.
I know. I feel like you're
already spent all her beer money.
No, I have a separate pot set aside for like the Siren releases because I know you guys do like 2-ish a week. But if you do too many barrel aged ones, you are definitely going to bank. Hold them back.
Yeah. Okay.
So where can people find you guys on the socials?
So obviously you can buy beers direct from us at sirencraftbrew.com. Also though, I'd urge anyone that's got a local bottle shop near them that stock our beers to definitely support the local bottle shops. A Hoppy Place is a great one off the top of my head. Hop Knocker and Craft Metropolis, depending on where you're based, but they all deliver. At Siren Barrels, obviously for our barrel store. At Siren Craft Brew, you'll be able to find most of us. You'll be able to find that on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to follow me, I wouldn't. It's just pictures of my cat and a few beers mainly.
That's
but
great.
I'm at Siren Beer Mat on Instagram. But yeah, loads of cool kind of stuff coming up. Also sign up for our newsletter as well if you go onto our website because you get first dibs on all the releases. So I'd imagine that Nitro Shattered Dream will probably go pretty quickly.
Yep, and the amount of people that wanted the Omnipolo that was coming out, it's obviously still available. The collab that you guys did with Omnipolo.
Oh, that's incredible.
The amount of people that when the pre-releases came out were like, "Can you send me the email? Can you?" And I was like, no, you need to sign up for the newsletter. I was like, I'm going to go order them and you can sign up for the newsletter.
I had a day off today, actually. I kind of feel sorry for the guys because I think they had the amount of orders that came over the weekend. I think it's been quite a manic day at the brewery. I'll find out when they go in tomorrow.
Oh, fingers crossed. Right. All right. We won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been
a lovely conversation.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Yay.
That was it. Thank you again for coming on.
That
was brilliant.
That was really good.
We could talk for hours and we were really good at not
We didn't go off on
course.
a tangent tonight. That was really good. Normally we go off and start talking about something and then meander.
It would be like crumpets. What do you think about crumpets? Yes or no?
I love crumpets, so that would have been a good question.
Right.
That's it. We know for next time. We'll have to get you back on. We'll have to talk about crumpets.
Talk about crumpets. Crumpet and beer pairings.
Yeah. Yes. Or making crumpets out of beer.
I'm going to have to do it, but making crumpets is really hard.
I've never even tried it. Yeah, I do like the idea of a crumpet and beer pairing, though. That does sound mad.
Yeah, because we put different toppings on to go with different beers.
Well, that's it.
We're going to do this now.
Come summer, you do like a lot of, Matt, you do a lot of like barbecue and beer stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
That's it. Come summer, we'll have to have you back on. We'll be like, here's some top tips for
barbecue.
Yeah.
I love barbecue.
I've got some incredible. I've got a smoker, and I managed to acquire some bourbon whiskey barrel staves that had one of our stouts in. So I'm going to pick those up and use it to smoke some meat, and it's going to be all bourbon and stouty.
Oh wow,
that's going to be amazing. I've got a smoker, and I have tried twice to smoke on it, and I failed twice to smoke on it.
I was about to say you'll have to teach me how to do it because I've always wanted to do it. But if you can't do it, then don't teach me.
I can tell you how to fail at doing it if you'd like to learn how to not smoke.
I think I've only done it. I haven't done it that many times. It's just difficult.
Yeah.
I think the panic was everyone was saying don't do anything that involves, because last summer everyone was going, because of COVID, don't do things that involve a lot of smoke. So I wasn't, anytime there was like a heavy amount of smoke, I was panicking, going, oh my God, my neighbours are going to hate me. So I was really careful about what I was doing. So it's like this summer, that's it, it's on.
You can't even invite around for dinner afterwards, can you?
Yeah, you can't even I mean, I can wave it at you and be like, this is what I've been doing. I'm not setting things on fire.
Tastes really good.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. We'll let you go. We don't want to keep you too long. Thank you so
guys.
much again.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great. So there you have it. That was our interview with Matt, the events manager at Siren. He's lovely.
He's
I'm
so
glad
lovely.
you managed to get him on.
He's so nice. I mean, it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
You know, it's a group effort. But yeah, he's absolutely lovely. Obviously, you know, I love Siren in general. So
Do you? I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but I do like quite a bit.
Oh God, she's flashing her Siren Caribbean chocolate cake t-shirt, just for those that can't see, and her Siren glasses for those that can't see.
And I already put the face masks away, so they're not here anymore. But yeah, no, he's absolutely lovely. Everyone that works at the tap yard has always, from my experience, been absolutely lovely. Just really good staff all around. And I know I get a lot of flack from people that just say, oh, you're recommended things because you love Siren so much. So
they're good beer.
Reason I love it because their beers are so quality and they just are very well executed. That's why I recommend them so much. And it helps that the staff are also very, very nice. So definitely get orders in for the events. I think you mentioned the whiskey sort of tasting. They've got refashioned beer with a whiskey tasting of an old fashioned. So if that's still available, that should be by the time this comes out, have a few days. If you don't already have it, get on that, because I think it's going to be really good. I think I might do it.
Yeah, I think I want to do it. I just want to hear about how Steve blended it. I want to. That's making my geeky beer heart really happy.
And I just want to drink whiskey.
Yeah.
And beer. So that's got me happy. So
so big thank you to Matt and to Siren for coming on to our little podcast. Tori, if people want to talk to you about your fangirling of Siren, where can they get hold of you?
Yeah, if they want any recommendations on what's the best Siren beers to buy at the moment, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. And where can they find you, Joanne?
If you want to talk to me, I am a Woman's Brew on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can find my beer school where you can come and learn more about beer, just like Matt was talking about. That is Love Beer Learning, and we are at Love Beer Learning on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We are also on Pinterest. We're on the TikTokies, and you can come to our website www.lovebeerlearning.co.uk, or you can email me for the beer school or for the podcast at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. Get in contact today.
Cool. Until next time. Cheers.
Cheers.